Hi, everyone. Mrs. King here. It's Tuesday, January the 19th. Last week in grammar, we talked about compound sentences a little bit. And we mentioned that a compound sentence is two simple sentences that are put together using a word called a conjunction. And I mentioned to you the different conjunctions that we have that we can use and what each one means and when we might use each conjunction. So we're going to spend part of this week kind of reviewing conjunctions and compound sentences because they kind of go together in a big way. So to review, a conjunction, there's that word in yellow, is a part of speech that joins words, phrases, or clauses. And there's two types of them. The first type, and that's the type that we're really focusing on for our lessons this week and also last week, are what we call coordinating conjunctions. Those are two big words. You don't need to remember the word coordinating right now. Just know that there's two types of conjunctions, and we're going to be using the first type for our work, for our compound sentences. Okay? Another thing we talked about last week are how to remember the conjunctions that we use in our English language. And we came up with the acronym FANBOYS. And there is that word, FANBOYS, FANBOYS. If you can remember the word fanboys, then you can remember all 7 conjunctions. So here they are. And in fact, we've got a fan here that you can see, and each conjunction is written on a piece of the fan to help you remember that word. So the conjunctions that we're really using this week and last week were for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Okay, so again, if you can remember the word fanboys, this lesson will get a little easier as we do some more examples. Now, that was kind of a review from last week. I'm going to come down to a different slide and basically repeat what I had kind of said before, that when we construct a sentence that joins two what we call clauses, or sometimes we call them simple sentences, we use a conjunction and we create a compound sentence. So one clause or simple sentence plus another clause or simple sentence makes a compound sentence when we use that conjunction. It's kind of like the conjunction is the glue that holds those two sentences together. Okay, so if I'm going to draw another little diagram that kind of helped my students remember this. If I have a sentence, and I'm not going to write a complete sentence, I'm just going to draw a line to resemble and to kind of take the place of a sentence that we might write. Okay, then I'm going to draw a bridge, and that bridge is kind of representing that conjunction. We need that conjunction or that bridge to connect the two simple sentences together. Okay, so this is kind of more of a visual tool that helps us to kind of understand how that works. The conjunction connects two simple sentences, which means it's going to go pretty much in the middle of our compound sentence. Now, today, I have a few examples. We're going to scroll down a little bit more. And here's an example of two simple sentences that were combined. And it's been done for you. Sam ran as fast as he could. There's our first simple sentence. Sam didn't win the race. Okay, so those are our two sentences. Now, to make them longer in a compound, you can see what they did. I'm going to move myself up here to the corner. There we go. And you can see how they combine those two simple sentences. Sam ran as fast as he could. Notice that they took the period out and they replaced it with a comma. Since we're combining into one sentence, we don't need two periods because we don't have two sentences anymore. We're going to combine them into one. So we're going to replace the period, put in a comma, and there's our little reminder. Did you remember to use a comma? Okay, then we put in a fanboy. Sam ran as fast as he could, but he didn't win the race. How did we know to use the word but? We have to go back and think about what those conjunctions mean. Would it make sense to say Sam ran as fast as he could, so he didn't win the race? Not really. Think about how you would speak that if you were talking to someone. He ran as fast as he could, but he still didn't win the race. Another word we could have put in there is the conjunction yet. It's kind of like a fancy way to say the word but, if you remember from our lesson last week. Sam ran as fast as he could, yet he didn't win the race. Okay, so the word but or the word yet, they kind of mean the opposite, or something that is kind of not in agreement with the first simple sentence. Okay, let's move on and do another example of two simple sentences that will combine to make a compound sentence using a coordinating conjunction. Okay, here are our first two simple sentences. Sarah arrived early. That's a pretty short sentence. Sarah read a book. Okay, those are pretty simple. Let's make it more interesting and combine them into a compound. I know I'm going to put the first simple sentence first. Sarah arrived early. Then I'm going to insert that comma instead of the period that's up here. Remember, we only need one period since we're combining them. So, Sarah arrived early, comma. Now, look what conjunction they used here. Sarah arrived early, so she read a book. So the word so signifies some kind of effect that happens after the first thing happened. So she read a book first, or she arrived early first, and since she arrived early, she read a book. So we're going to use that conjunction so. And then we can put the second simple sentence along with our ending mark, our period at the end. Okay, so if you need to go back to last week's Fanboys lesson where I talked about the meanings of the different conjunctions, you can do that. You can go to my YouTube channel and find that coordinating conjunctions video, or you can go back to Canvas and go back to last week grammar and find it there. It's both places. So that's if you need a quick review on the meanings of all of those fanboys. Today, for some practice on this, you're going to go to IXL, Language Arts, and you're going to work on assignment SS1. It will be linked in your Canvas module, and that's going to help you find those coordinating conjunctions and be able to locate them in a sentence. Tomorrow, we'll come back with a few more examples and a chance for you to practice making compound sentences.